85 years ago, on March 18, 1937, the Sisters of the Holy Family of Nazareth were busy with preparations for the grand opening of the first modern hospital in Tyler, Texas, Mother Frances Hospital. The community had long awaited this facility, as the city and surrounding areas had experienced vast growth due to the East Texas oil boom. It was going to be a celebratory day full of festivities.
New London, Texas, and Mother Frances Hospital of Tyler, they became inextricably intertwined. And every time they commemorate the tragic New London school explosion, we commemorate the early opening of Mother Frances Hospital.
It affected the community from the standpoint that nearly everybody here had somebody in the school explosion or knew somebody. So, the Depression was on. People came in here by the thousands to get jobs. And it's just a tragedy that I'll never forget. If you look at the little model here, running the whole length of the model is a 64,000 cubic foot crawl space. A gas leak occurred underneath it. Shop teacher plugged a sander in, it's defective, it sparked and blew the building up.
I was 6 years old and in the first grade, and I was sitting there playing jacks when the school exploded. And the teachers got us all together and kept us safe and kept me there until I had twin sisters that were in the 7th grade, and they both survived and came and picked me up to get me home.
The New London gas explosion ripped apart the school, killing 270 students and 24 teachers and visitors. Hundreds of others were injured and needed immediate care in order to save their lives.
They opened their doors to the community and to all the children and provided, everything they could for the community.
Every bed, every hallway, every chair was full of injured and dying children, and they were working their very hardest. The love that must have been shown those children. And even later, we have pictures of kids who are recovering in beds, and you can tell that they're just being overwhelmed with love.
They sent their nurses, they sent the nuns, and then they took victims back, and they were there for us. There's one neat story about a survivor that married his nurse that he met at Mother Frances. He fell in love with her, and they got married.
We need to do everything we can to make sure that we keep telling the story, that the story, which again, Mother Frances is intertwined into this story, that we keep telling the story and that we never forget the victims, we never forget those that served on that day, and that the reality that God always brings triumph out of tragedy, and this is no different than that.
Our legacy is that they learned that there is an odor in gas now because of this. Up until that point, there was no odor. And it's something that is around the world now. We had visitors in here from London, England just recently, and that person said, we smell that odor in England, and it's because of this.
In my opinion, what they learned was you can overcome tragedy. You got to do what you can, and this community did it.
There was a need at that moment on March 18th, 1937, at 3:17 p.m., there was a tremendous need. And everyone responded to the need to the best of their abilities, given the gifts and the talents that God had given them. And that's how our mission began. The mission of extending the healing ministry of Jesus Christ began with that tragedy. And it's a punctuation mark on our why.
Well, Mother Frances was a brand new hospital, going to open to the public the next day. It never happened. They came, they helped us grieve, they took care of us, and still are.
As we have expanded and grown to serve the greater North Texas area with world-class, nationally recognized care, the New London School and the lives that were taken and forever changed will always be a reminder of what we do and why we do it. The Sisters of the Holy Family of Nazareth and the doctors and team that jumped in at the time of need to serve our community exemplified our mission and set it into motion, extending the healing ministry of Jesus Christ then, now, and for years to come.